Tell me pretty lies, look me in the face. Tell me that you love me, even if it's fake, cause I don't fucking care.
What's up guys, it's Royal Toxic. I'm back again with a guide for veterans trying to get back into Runescape. Over the years, the game has changed so much with the release of new content, and the most efficient things for a player to do has changed drastically. There are also many things that a returning player may not even know are there, but they're so easy to use and they help. First off, let's move through the settings to make playing the game more comfortable. Clicking on the gears icon or pressing the escape key will bring up a menu that lists all the different types of settings. First, the interface settings has a transparency slider that changes how see-through your interface is. Here you can also turn on the Slayer task counter that shows how many creatures you have left to kill. Next, you can see just how customizable the interface is. You're able to take every different tab in the chat boxes and everything else to make it its own tab. Everything's size adjustable too. You can having a big map makes it easier to travel long distances as you have to click less. Scrolling on your mouse can zoom you in or out on your character, as well as on your map. You can zoom in and out. I like to have public chat, clan chat, and friends chat up all at once while having everything I need for combat. With the ability bar, you're able to change what key is assigned to what spot on the bar, which is very useful. Sticking with the ability bar, members can use the ability Regenerate by clicking on the heart next to your life points, which gives you a percentage of health for every 10% of adrenaline that you have. Click the sword next to your adrenaline bar to toggle auto retaliate. Click the prayer icon next to your prayer points to turn on quick prayers, as well as right click to select your quick prayers. Click on the summoning icon to use whatever you have set as the left click option. For me, it's my familiar special move. Rune Metrics is an advanced tracker for everything that you do in the game. It is not necessary to have to play efficiently. It does cost money to obtain, but it tracks drops, XP, and more. Customization is revamped. Now you no longer need the makeover mage unless you need to change genders. With the customization tab, you can change things like your hair color, your title, and your pet. There are now skilling pets in the game. You obtain them by just getting lucky while skilling. When you right click examine them, it shows you how much XP you have in that skill. This is also where you can adjust your cosmetic overrides. Account luxuries are all the things that make your actual play easier. You can access what invention components you have obtained by disassembling items by clicking on the invention icon in your inventory. The currency pouch can be accessed by clicking on the bond pouch, then clicking open on your currency pouch. This is where you can find all of your minigame currencies like runespan points, your toggle, your distraction and diversions points like hanky points, and other things like your slayer points. Clicking on the money pouch will bring up a price checker. You can add items to this to evaluate how much something is worth. You can also withdraw money out of your money pouch as well as add it back in. An important thing to mention is money in your money pouch will never be lost on death. Next up is bank presets. Clicking on the bank preset icon will pull up your bank presets. Here you can change what will be withdrawn from your bank with one click. You can also adjust what is in your Beast of Burden. Next up are bonds. Bonds can be bought from the Grand Exchange and they can be converted to useful things like rune coins, treasure hunter keys, and even membership. I've been paying for membership with bonds since it came out. The Toggle Zo is the best ring to get close to a bank and a fairy ring. If you just teleport to the fight cave, you will be right next to both. It is acquired through the Elder Kiln quest. Speaking of getting around quickly, the Surge magic ability instantly moves the player 10 tiles forward. Lodestones are another way to get around the whole world a lot easier. There's a lodestone near every major city and a couple of extras. Lodestones can be unlocked just by clicking on them when you run there for the first time. Now, skilling. There are so many helpful dungeoneering rewards that are important to have while skilling, especially if you're going for a lot of XP. Most notably the Scroll of Cleansing, which provides a chance for items to be saved when adding them to potions or vials of water. And while crafting potions, you have a chance to make 2 at the speed of crafting 1, also getting XP for both. And the Charming Imp, which will pick up charms for the player and place them in their inventory, Continuing on the topic of skilling, portables can be used to gain 10% more XP in the skill being trained, along with other effects like the chance to string 2 bows instead of 1. To use these portables for free, simply join the portables friend chat and ask for what you need. Someone will tell you a world and a location. Important to mention is the abbreviation CA means Combat Academy, which is just north of the Lodestone and Lumbridge, and SP means Shanty Pass, which is in Alcarid. Nowadays there are also elite skilling outfits that provide such good bonuses for the skill that they affect. The skills that can be trained with these outfits are Dungeoneering, Runecrafting, Woodcutting, Thieving, Mining, Fishing, and Divination. Some of these outfits can be crafted using the invention skill, whereas others need to be won off Treasure Hunter. Moving on to combat, there's a new looting system that can be used to loot a lot of items at once. Simply by clicking on a stack of items, the area loot inventory will be pulled up where the player can choose what they want to loot specifically or the whole pile. This will not be pulled up if the dropped item is right-clicked. The player can also toggle this option off by unchecking the checkbox in the Gameplay Settings tab. Slayer is one of the newest additions to the skills that can go up to level 120. There are actual rewards with going up to level 120 in that there are new Slayer monsters. In the Combat Settings tab, the player can adjust what skills are gaining XP, now that every combat style can gain full defensive XP. There are 3 options for ways to do combat. Full manual, which means the player needs to select all abilities. Revolution, where the basic abilities are automatically activated as they're able to. And Legacy, which is the old style of combat. I recommend using Revolution all the time as it is the easiest because the player can still use the evolved combat system but doesn't need to always be activating abilities. I do recommend using the new combat system because it will result in a more immersive experience, not to mention higher damage per second. These are the ability bars that I use. Based on my personal preference, these are easy to use with the Revolution combat style. Earlier I mentioned basic abilities. There are 3 types of ability. Basic, which is activated by Revolution and will also build adrenaline. Threshold, which will require 50% adrenaline and take away 15% adrenaline after being used. And ultimate abilities, which require 100% adrenaline to use, taking away all 100% of your adrenaline. Unless the player has completed the World Wakes quest, I do not recommend using ultimates. Here's an example of a threshold and an ultimate being used during the fight against the Queen Black Dragon. Prayers and curses are also very helpful during combat. At level 75 prayer and the completion of the King's Ransom quest, the player unlocks the highest tier prayers, which can increase the player's damage and accuracy in combat. With the completion of the quest Temple of Sentiston, the player unlocks curses, or ancient curses. These are much higher level prayers, giving the player better bonuses. One last thing to mention, there are grand potions now, which boost as much as an overload but deteriorate over the time. These potions are available to buy on the Grand Exchange and they're the best alternative to overloads. But that's been it for me, thanks for watching. If there's any questions, be sure to ask.